Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're wrestling with some of the world's most stubborn puzzles. Those phenomena that just refuse to be explained, no matter how hard we try.
Yeah, the real head scratchers.
Exactly. We've gathered a stack of fascinating sources on enigmas that continue to defy conventional understanding. Our mission for this deep dive is, well, to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge from these articles, give you a shortcut to understanding why these mysteries persist and what some of the intriguing theories are. All right, you ready to have your mind maybe a little bit blown?
What's truly compelling about these unexplained phenomena, I think, is how they invite us to question our perception of reality. They really push the very boundaries of scientific inquiry. We'll explore not just what they are, but why they continue to intrigue and, challenge our understanding even in an age of advanced technology.
Okay, let's kick things off with something you might not see, but perhaps feel or hear if you're one of the unfortunate few. We're talking about strange, persistent sounds.
How's that really baffle science?
Definitely. First up, the Taos hum. Residents of Taos, New Mexico, they've been perplexed by this low-frequency hum.
Low frequency meaning sound waves so deep they're often felt more like vibrations, right? Not clearly heard.
Exactly. Felt rather than heard sometimes. And this started back in the early 1990s. It's inaudible to most people, but those who do hear it describe it like a diesel engine idling somewhere off in the distance. The real puzzle isn't just what it is, but why investigations have just yielded no clear explanation.
And this raises an important question, doesn't it? What are the prevailing theories for something like the Taos hum?
Well, the sources mention things like unusual acoustics, maybe something geological, even, secret military operations.
Which highlights the wide range of speculation you get when conventional answers just aren't there. It's a mystery that seems to exist almost entirely within the listener's ear, or maybe even their mind. That subjectivity makes it incredibly hard to pin down.
And it's not just house. We see mentions of the Windsor hum, too.
Oh, yeah, in Ontario, Canada.
That's the one. Described as a disturbing noise, sort of between a window-rattling bass and this brain-numbing deep thrum. It's been bugging residents there for years.
Also likened to a diesel engine, I remember reading.
Yes, and get this, some sources even suggest it's had really severe psychological impacts on people, even driving some to desperate measures.
Wow.
What I find fascinating about these hums is not just that they exist, but how profoundly they impact people's lives, even though they're so elusive. I mean, how do you even begin to investigate something you can't consistently measure?
You've really hit on the core challenge there. Stepping back a bit, these hums, they fall under a broader category, don't they? Unidentified sounds that baffle scientists.
Like skyquakes.
Exactly like skyquakes, those mysterious booming sounds that have occurred for years all over the U.S. and elsewhere, often with no clear meteorological or seismic cause.
Right.
They force us to confront the limits of our, observational tools and the sheer complexity of environmental acoustics. It challenges our understanding of sensory perception itself.
Okay, so from sounds we can't explain, let's shift gears. Let's turn to creatures we can't quite seem to catch.
Ah, the elusive ones. Cryptids.
Bigfoot. The legend of this, large, hairy, humanoid creature. It's persisted across North American folklore for centuries.
It really has deep roots.
Sightings reported everywhere from the Pacific Northwest way down to the swamps of Florida. But despite, numerous footprints, grainy videos, countless eyewitness accounts.
The classic stuff.
Yeah. The existence of this cryptid and cryptid just means an animal whose existence is unproven, right?
Correct. Unproven, often legendary.
Well, Bigfoot remains stubbornly unverified. It's such a classic example of something widely reported, but just lacking that definitive physical evidence.
And that's precisely the challenge of cryptid research, isn't it? Our sources also mention others, like the Beast of Bray Road.
The werewolf-like creature.
That's the one. And the Lugau, which is a sort of Haitian Vodou werewolf figure, or the Orang Pendek in Sumatra, this supposed unknown primate.
Right, so different cultures have their own versions.
Exactly. The constant thread isn't necessarily proof, but the cultural persistence of these tales. What's fascinating is how the sheer volume of anecdotal reports keeps the question alive for so many people, even though most evidence often gets debunked as misidentification or, frankly, hoaxes.
So the debunking is part of the story, too.
Absolutely. The ongoing effort to explain sightings away is as much a part of the phenomenon as the sightings themselves.
Okay, let's change scenes again. Let's turn our attention out to the high seas, to a really chilling maritime mystery.
Ah, the Mary Celeste.
The Mary Celeste. In 1872, this ship was found just adrift in the Atlantic Ocean. Perfectly seaworthy,
But empty.
completely empty. What's so perplexing is the ship was in good condition, its cargo was intact, but the entire crew, nowhere to be found.
Mm,
Vanished.
mm.
The mystery of their disappearance has just never been solved. It's one of history's most enduring maritime cold cases.
And it begs the question, how do we approach these historical enigmas when the crucial witnesses are simply gone? The Mary Celeste really serves as a stark reminder of what people call the fog of history. Even with the ship found relatively intact, the lack of immediate direct testimony from the crew makes the scene almost indecipherable.
So what are the theories? Piracy? Sea
Uh-huh.
monsters?
Well, speculation has ranged wildly, yes. From piracy, mutiny, giant squid attacks, even paranormal explanations. But our sources are clear. No evidence conclusively supports any single theory. Natural disasters, like a sudden storm or maybe a waterspout, are often suggested too.
But nothing definitive.
Nothing. It just emphasizes how vulnerable we are out on the sheer vastness of the ocean, how easily things can just disappear without a trace.
Okay, from the vastness of the sea, let's shift our focus back to land and even up into the sky for some mind-bending natural phenomena.
Nature getting weird.
Exactly. First up, imagine rocks that move on their own. The racetrack Playa in Death Valley, California. It's home to these puzzling sailing stones.
I've seen pictures of those trails they leave. Incredible.
Right. These rocks, some weighing hundreds of pounds, they glide across the desert floor. No humans, no animals pushing them. They just leave these long trails behind.
So what's the thinking now? It used to be a total mystery.
Well, recent research suggests it's a very specific, rare combination of factors. Thin sheets of ice forming overnight after rain, light winds catching the ice like sails, and a very muddy, slippery surface underneath.
Ah, okay, so the ice pushes the rocks.
Kind of, yeah. The wind pushes the ice sheets, and the ice sheets shove the rocks along the mud. But the precise mechanics, like how these really heavy rocks get going and leave such distinct, sometimes complex trails,
Hmm.
that's still being studied. It's a glimpse into nature's subtle power.
And what's intriguing there is how that unique alignment of environmental factors creates something so extraordinary, so visually striking.
Yeah.
It reminds me a bit of the fairy circles in the Namib Desert.
Oh, tell us about those.
Well, these are these circular patches of land, completely barren inside, but surrounded by a ring of tall grass. They can be anywhere from, say, 6 to 30 feet across.
And they last.
They can last for decades, up to 70 years, apparently. Their persistence in such a harsh desert environment, well, it continues to puzzle scientists. Theories range from termite activity underground to plants competing for scarce water, creating these patterns.
But still debated.
Still debated, makes them a really unique feature of the world's oldest desert.
Okay, so weird stuff on the ground. What about looking up, if you thought things on the ground were strange?
The Hessdalen Lights.
You got it. The Hessdalen Valley in Norway. Site of the Hessdalen Lights. These unexplained lights, they vary in color, intensity. They've been observed since at least the 1930s.
And they're not just nighttime phenomena, right?
No, they appear day and night, sometimes moving with incredible speed, other times just hovering in place. Despite numerous scientific studies, like Project Hessdalen, which started back in '83, their origin is still a profound mystery. What makes them so baffling, do you think, considering all the research?
I think it's the sheer inconsistency and the varied behavior. They just don't fit neatly into any known category.
They're unpredictable.
Very. In the grand scheme, these lights share characteristics with other ghost lights, maybe like the Marfa lights out in the Texas desert.
Right, where people speculate about UFOs or car headlights, atmospheric conditions.
All sorts of things. The challenge with Hessdalen is they really don't seem to conform to known atmospheric physics or geological activity consistently, so the question of their true nature remains wide open despite all the diligent observation.
And sticking with geology for a moment, let's touch on a true geological marvel. Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland.
Ah, yes. Stunning place.
It really is. This area has about 40,000 interlocking basalt columns. They're the result of an ancient volcanic eruption.
Legend says the giant Finn McCool built it, of course.
Of course. But scientifically, while we know it's volcanic cooling, the precise formation process and especially how those columns achieved such perfect, often hexagonal shapes,
Okay.
that's not fully understood.
It's truly remarkable how nature can sculpt such order from, well, the chaos of an eruption. These basalt columns form as lava cools and contracts, fracturing into these incredibly precise polygonal shapes.
They look like tiles.
Exactly. What remains a point of intense scientific fascination isn't just how they form, but the perfection and the uniformity of those hexagonal patterns across such a vast area. It almost blurs the lines between a natural geological process and something, well, almost architectural.
A natural wonder that still makes you ask questions about Earth's forces.
Definitely.
Okay, our deep dive wouldn't be complete without touching on some truly strange historical events and intellectual puzzles that are still unsolved.
History gets weird too.
Oh, does it ever? Perhaps one of the most bizarre historical events of the Dancing Plague of 1518, Strasbourg, Alsace, which is now in France.
Good dancing, Clegg. Yes.
It started with one woman, Frau Trophée, dancing fervently in the street. Within a month, hundreds had joined her. It became this relentless, month-long dance marathon.
And not happily, right? People were exhausted, distressed.
Exactly. Many apparently danced literally to their deaths from exhaustion, heart attack, stroke. Historical records actually recount this.
Yeah.
But how? How could something like that possibly happen?
It really forces you to think about mass psychology and public health back then, viewed through our modern lens, doesn't it?
Completely.
Our sources suggest explanations ranging from mass hysteria, maybe triggered by extreme stress, famine, disease, a shared psychological break, to ergot poisoning.
Ergot, like the fungus on rye bread.
Precisely. Ergot poisoning is known to cause hallucinations, spasms, convulsions, so it's a plausible biological candidate. But there's no definitive proof it was ergot, and some symptoms don't quite match.
Well, still no single answer.
No definitive answer. It's just this chilling reminder of how profoundly unexplained, almost surreal events can unfold within human societies, leaving behind a historical record that just defies easy explanation.
And speaking of historical enigmas, what about the Tunguska blast, 1908?
Siberia, a massive explosion.
Huge explosion rocked the region, trees flattened for miles and miles, but
Yeah.
no impact crater was ever found.
Which is the key puzzle piece.
Right. Theories about what caused it just abound. But the exact cause is still a mystery over a century later. What makes this one so tough to crack?
Well, I think it's largely the lack of direct evidence at the site. That absence of an impact crater, combined with how remote the location was and how fragmented the initial observations were, it makes it difficult.
So what's the leading theory?
The leading theory is an airburst, a meteor or possibly a comet fragment exploding high in the atmosphere before it hit the ground. That would explain the widespread destruction without a crater.
Okay.
But the details, like the object's composition, its exact trajectory, those are still debated. The truly compelling part is just the sheer scale of the event and the uncertainty that still surrounds it.
That lasting uncertainty.
Exactly. And, in a similar vein of intellectual puzzles, things we can't quite figure out, we have the Voynich manuscript.
Ah, the book no one can read.
That's the one. This massive illustrated manuscript, likely from the early 15th century, filled with bizarre plants, astronomical charts, bathing figures, and text written in a script or code that nobody has ever deciphered.
Despite massive efforts, right? Code breakers, linguists.
Everyone's had a crack at it for decades. Is it a lost language? An elaborate cipher? A textbook? An encyclopedia? Or just a fantastically complex hoax? Its contents remain completely indecipherable. A true intellectual black hole.
Wow. And sticking with signals we can't quite interpret, for those who look to the stars, there's the WOW signal.
SETI in 1977.
Yes, search for extraterrestrial intelligence. A volunteer astronomer, Jerry Emmon, was looking at radio telescope data. He saw this transmission, this signal that was so strong, so unusual, apparently so much like what they thought an alien signal might look like.
That he circled it on the printout and just wrote, wow, beside it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It seemed to indicate maybe a message from outer space, a strong, narrow-band radio signal coming from a specific point in the sky. But what was it really?
And the problem is,
it was never detected again, despite pointing telescopes back to that same spot many, many times.
And that frustration, that non-repeatability is what makes the wow signal so enduringly mysterious, especially for the scientific community.
Right.
It had all the technical hallmarks you'd look for in a potential extraterrestrial signal, but its fleeting nature means it could never be confirmed, never studied further. It's just hanging there.
A cosmic question mark.
Pretty much. And what all these things show us, I think, whether it's an unreadable manuscript, cosmic whisper, or even something ancient like Stonehenge.
Still mysterious in its own ways.
Right. Even Stonehenge, with its mysteries of who built it, exactly why, and how on earth they moved those giant stones. These questions still captivate us, even with new archaeological insights coming out.
Knowledge evolves, but some questions just stick around.
Exactly. Some fundamental questions endure.
Wow. What an incredible deep dive into the truly unexplained. From those persistent homes that defy explanation to rocks that move themselves, ancient dancing plagues. It's clear our world holds way more mysteries than answers.
It really does.
Challenges our senses, challenges our assumptions.
And these phenomena, they really encourage critical thinking, don't they? They remind us there's always more to learn.
Yeah.
They challenge us to consider multiple perspectives, to not just dismiss what we don't immediately understand, urges us to look beyond the conventional explanations.
It's almost like the world itself is just this giant puzzle, and we're only just getting started on figuring out some of its most intriguing pieces.
Well put.
So which of these enduring enigmas will you be pondering next? Maybe the Tao's hum, maybe the Mary Celeste, maybe that undecipherable book.
Plenty to think about.
Perhaps the most perplexing mystery of all isn't just what happened in these cases, but why the human mind is so profoundly drawn to the unknown, why we feel so compelled to search for answers even when none are easily found.